Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. I could not be more pleased to have my next guest here on set with us, the E-Team. And I've got, first of all, Emmy Award-winning Katie Shevney right here next to me. And right next to her, Ross Kaufman, Academy Award winner, and film cinematographer, directors, producers, everything of E-Team. And I have to say, this film is so exciting from the perspective of the important messages here that so many people are willing to just turn a blind eye to. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, it's great to be here.
First of all, tell me how, I know, and all you guys have been kind of in this, journalistic part of the industry in a sense. I say journalistic in a loose way because the way you guys do things is a little more scary, I think, than a lot of embedded journalists do. Tell me how we got to where we are here and where E-Team comes from.
Go ahead.
Well, Ross and I are old friends and filmmakers, and we were looking for a project to do together. And what really drew us to this project was first and foremost the characters. Okay. And so the E-Team are these 4 fascinating, funny, smart, brave individuals who go and investigate human rights abuses around the world. And once we met them, we knew they were the kind of people who you'd love to see on the big screen.
Exactly.
And the kind of movies Ross and I make, we really love a lot of intimate access. So we spent literally years with them at home and in the field, in interesting places like Libya and Syria, as well as in their homes in France and Berlin and Switzerland.
Embedded in their life, which is kind of a little more of it, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, really getting to know them as people. Like that was our goal, is to make a film about them as people first and foremost.
So often when we talk about film, we forget that part of it. We forget that part when we're doing interviews in a situation like this.
Well, that was the whole point for us.
People.
We just wanted people to get to know our characters, and through our characters, hopefully, possibly care about issues and care about the things that they care about. But for us, it's all about character and story, and we're not really activists.
Yeah.
By any stretch. We're really filmmakers. We're trying to tell a story, try to get great characters, and also showing the humanity, the fun, the joy within the sadness that they have to deal with.
That must be, I'm thinking you have to dig a lot to find that, but
well, that's right. We have 400 hours of footage that we shot over these years, so there's a lot of.
There's plenty there.
Yeah.
And the film is 89 minutes. So,
so you do the math.
Yeah, which means you got it cut finally. The final cut came out like a couple of days ago, like right before the premiere, which was yesterday, right?
Yesterday was the premiere, and it was. I'm sort of humbled by what a wonderful reception it had.
It was great.
It was really incredible.
That is really awesome. Yeah. Well, I think that there's certainly a lot of reason to care about this because as we talked offset about this, there are bad things happening all over the world. And if we watched all of them every day, we would have a pretty dreary day.
Yeah.
That would probably not be good for any of us health-wise. But certainly it is important, I think, to be aware of how bad things are and what things that we can do to be, part of the solution to that. And probably the biggest one of all of them is the exposing it to the world.
Awareness,
right?
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about that perspective. You and I talked about that a little bit. Can you kind of give me the feeling of what some of these people are doing as they're sneaking in and sometimes sneaking into some of these countries?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, really what we tried to focus on in the film was the most interesting and dramatic aspects of the work of the E-Team, which is just so interesting in general. But so we've got very specific about the kind of work they do, where, for example, we have this very unusual footage of 2 of the E-Team members, Anya and Ulis, smuggling across the border from Turkey into Syria because Syria wasn't allowing any foreign observers in the country. And they were determined to document the abuses that the government was conducting against its own people. Right. And so just the footage of them smuggling alone, these are people really dedicated to trying to do something really important. And then once they're in Syria, they get very specific. They interview people. They're very meticulous about the work they do. And as a result, you really have faith, and you feel like, I've seen something I've never seen before on the news, and this is something that really matters, and I'm glad I learned about it in this very specific way.
Right.
So part of our strategy was, this is a way of learning about something that you can kind of connect to and care about in a way that you might not if you were seeing just a news clip of something horrible happening.
But it's also great because one of our characters, Peter Buchart, I think he was quoted in Rolling Stone as being the James Bond of human rights investigators. So what they do is actually exciting, and it's interesting, and it really drew us in. And for us, it's all about character and story.
It seems that there is an element of almost the scientific method to the way in which these people are documenting what's happening, and the reason for that is the legitimacy of that information. I find myself, I gather news from so many different places because I don't trust any one of them. So I take a little bit from each that I think might be, seems like it has some backing to it.
Right.
This, I think, kind of provides that, foot on the ground. I'm there. This is what's happening. You see it on my cell phone. You see it on my hidden camera. This is for real. There's little doubt at that point what.
Yeah, one of our characters, Anya, we quote her in the movie, and she says, nothing compares to being on the ground in terms of the level of investigation that you can conduct. So, and we experienced the same thing just by virtue of Ross being there with his camera. He was able to collect footage that you just don't see of what's it like, kids running around in the streets, interviewing people who just recently had an airstrike attack in their neighborhood that's in Syria. When Ross was in Libya, they filmed this, very horrific massacre that had just occurred by Gaddafi forces. And the E-Team were the people there who were getting the information that then journalists were going to them because they have such a great reputation and saying, please tell us, E-Team members, what happened here. And they knew that their data was rock solid.
Is there a happy ending in this movie?
We're not going to give away the ending. But the thing about Katie and I, our main goal is to show our characters in a very human way. So we show the joy, the fun, the sadness, as I said before, but it's not an earnest look at human rights abuses. Right. What it is, it's a very honest and a very human sort of look at them.
At the people.
Yeah, at the people.
Will people have another chance? I know we had the premiere yesterday. Will people have another chance to see your film?
Yes, we have 4 more screenings.
That's terrific.
Yeah, and the next one in Park City is Tuesday night at the Redstone.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to be at that one.
Well,
I'm very excited to have both of you here. I hope you keep doing the same great documentaries that you're doing.
We will try.
And thank you so very much for being here on the Mountain Morning Show.
Thanks so much for having us.
All right. Well, we are going to be back right here on the Mountain Morning Show with more of Sundance to Sundance coverage right after this.